Hi guys, welcome to the very first day of Statistics Online. Hopefully before you have started to watch this video, you have watched the online directions for stats class. If you have not, please stop this video and watch that before you watch this video. All right, also, before you watch this video, there are two other videos that are listed that I would like you to watch first before my video for the third one of today. The other two are really short if you haven't watched them already, but again, if you have not watched those videos, please stop this video and watch the two other videos. Okay, so in class, in a normal class day, right, we would go over the procedures of the class, which is already in that video for you for the directions for online learners. So now we're just going to get right to it for the activity. So for the activity, I would like for you guys to ponder and think about if you think that an individual can smell Parkinson's disease. All right, well, first of all, Parkinson's disease is a brain disorder. It affects the central nervous system, and it results to people shaking and having stiffness in their body. In the other videos before this one, Joy smelled her husband, and she thought he smelled different. And so she had claimed that she smelled that he was developing Parkinson's disease. It went on that he did develop Parkinson's disease, and so she believes that she can smell Parkinson's disease. All right, so do you think that Joy can smell Parkinson's disease? And what would it take to convince you? And so the study in the video had 12 shirts, right? 12 shirts, and they were in bags. And in those shirts, or in those bags, were shirts that were worn by people who had Parkinson's disease and worn by people who did not. And they asked Joy to smell those shirts and tell if you can smell those shirts and say who did and who did not. So what do you think the likelihood of Joy guessing all of them correctly? Do you think that's very likely? Do you think 11? All right, so now I got you thinking. We're going to go to the actual document. So you don't have to print this off, no worries, but you are going to have to submit your work from this activity. And so maybe like on a separate sheet of paper, you could title it Smelling Parkinson's Disease, and then you don't have to write the question down, you just have to write 1, 2, and 3 and answer the questions. So let's take a look at number 1. It says, why do you think it would be important to know if someone can smell Parkinson's disease? Well, it could be an early detection, which is powerful, right? It could also lead to finding out like what causes Parkinson's disease. Good. All right. Number 2, how many correct decisions out of 12 would you expect Joy to make if she couldn't really smell Parkinson's disease and was just guessing? So if she had a baggie and she opened up the baggie and smelled the shirt, there are 2 choices. No, she doesn't think they have Parkinson's disease, and yes, they have Parkinson's disease. Now, if she was purely guessing and she didn't have that skill or ability, the likelihood would be 50%, right? And so I would say 6 out of 12. She's got a 50% chance, 50-50, she'd guess it right or not. It's kind of like flipping a coin, heads or tails. How many correct decisions out of 12 would it take to convince you that Joy could really smell Parkinson's disease? Like out of 12 right now, what would take? What would be convincing for you? And so I want you to write down that answer. For me, I said a lot. Maybe 10, 11, 12. 10 might be maybe, and maybe we need to conduct more experiments. 11 as well. 12, it's like, whoa, she's getting every single one of them right. And there might be something here. Okay, great. So let's go to the next part. So simulating the experiment. In class, pre-COVID, if we were to not have to worry about social distancing or online at all, then we would conduct this experiment together. But since we can't, no worries. We can still do this experiment. Now think about it for a second. If you wanted to, you could literally take 12 individual sticky notes or papers and write Parkinson's, not Parkinson's, and flip it over and move them all around and simply guess your way through and write down your results out of 12. And so for the sake of this video not being super long, I went ahead and just said, well, a lot of people are going to do 6, right? That's going to be the mean, basically, of our students. They would probably have 6. So I just said 6, and it's about 50%. All right, so for number 5, though, number 5 is asking for us to create a dot plot of everyone's results, right, in the whole entire class. So definitely pause this video and write down the dot plot. Please be mindful of the spacing. Don't have a bigger space between 5 and 6 than you do 9 or 10. They need to be equally spaced out. Okay, so in a dot plot, what would happen is if myself, I did this experiment and kept picking and choosing and guessing, and I got 6 out of 12 correctly, I would put 1 dot above 6, okay? And so let's say we have 30 students in the class, which we don't, but this is about what it would look like. It would look about like this, right? And you don't have to write down all 30 dots, but on your notes, I want you to show me at least the shape. Right? You give me the shape of what it would look like, our results would look like. And then off to the side, we want to write down what each dot represents. Each dot represents a person and how many they've guessed correctly. All right, so in the actual experiment, Joy, they did give her 12, right? Joy identified 11 out of 12. It's pretty good. Now, based on our very small experiment, like in class that you just see all those dots, what proportion, right? What proportion, and I'm going to highlight that actually, really important. What proportion of the simulations resulted in 11 or more? Well, we only had 1. And the proportion then would be 1 out of 30 because then we did 30 dots. 1 out of 30 is 0.03 or 30%. Are you convinced? Are you convinced that Joy can? And if not, I mean, 3%, I mean, you have a 3% chance of getting those correct. For me, I'm convinced, maybe, yeah. I would say on this small scale, yes. I would like to see it on a much larger scale, obviously. But what if I told you that the one person that she guessed incorrectly later on went to develop Parkinson's disease? Pretty crazy, huh? All right, well, that's it for today. What I'd like you to do is take a picture of your notes and upload them in today's Google form, and you'll find that on our class website. And that's it. You don't have any homework for today, and I hope you're really enjoying your first day of school. Come Zoom in during class time, the last 15 minutes, if you'd like to stop in and say hi or if you have any questions, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.